Investment, bro. There's a lot of shit in here now. Like, you have a lot of stuff. Like, has the business transformed into this?
You know, I looked at when I just redid the office here to make it like this shape, but a feng shui, right?
Yeah.
But then I'm just like seeing like the floor to ceiling windows and stuff, and then I saw like my first office in my childhood bedroom.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's humbling. It's just like going from that kid that has inner child issues to this now. Like people are always like, as a business owner, are you like mentally burnt out? I saw a quote is just like saying just like, all the problems I'm having right now in my business is what I manifested.
Yeah.
So just like, she's like, all the crying, I manifested the crying, and I take it like kind-heartedly. Like if I'm ever stressed, I'm like, I'd rather be stressed on this and then working like a 9-to-5 stress. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
no, I feel you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ajay Patel, and I'm back with the first-time repeat guest. And
I kept bothering him. No other
he has some venting to do, so he's paid me royally to come here, and honestly, it is great to have you back. Ladies and gentlemen, quick reminder, this is Atit Amin. He is a wedding photographer, videographer. He started his own business, faking it till he made it, very, very back when he was stealing kids' projects from schools and saying it was his. Big inspirations are a lot of YouTubers. This guy's going to drop a lot of quotes. He's a big quote guy.
Yeah, big quote. This is actually my favorite.
See,
quote.
there it is.
This is actually the people ask me what's like the best advice I've ever received. It's just, this is the one. There's two quotes actually. Steve Jobs is like, the person who built your smartphone is no smarter than you.
Yeah.
And then that kind of gave me the confidence of like, okay, if someone else could do it, why can't I do it? And then this is the quote that let me pursue it. It's like, build your dreams or someone else will hire you to build theirs. So those two are the quotes that are just like, not making excuses on why.
Look, man, a lot of people listen to this on their way to their 9-to-5.
Yeah.
So
but it's just like, a lot of people are ready to like, a lot of people are going, like, if you generally love your 9-to-5, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're like, never loved your 9-to-5 and you want to pursue music, art, or whatever it is that you want to pursue, it's just like, you can always go back to your old job.
No, I feel you. Like, a lot of the conversations, especially, so you are 27. It inching towards 30, and that's what the conversation becomes a lot between me and my boys, where it's like, damn, bro, we're gonna be doing this for how long? Like, at what point do we pivot? Because there are jobs that I saw back when I was probably 23, 24, where I was like, oh, that's not sexy. I don't want to own a motel or a hotel, or like have a fast food chain, whatever it is. But that's the way to like sustainability, right? You get one, then you get another one, then you get another one. Oh, next thing you know, you're done working by the time you're 40. So I definitely think like it's something that starts creeping up in your head.
No, like wedding videography, I just know I'm not gonna be that uncle shooting weddings. Like eventually, like, you know what I'm saying? Eventually I had to hang up the cleats essentially, and just like, there's two ways I want to go about it. It's either like the bookings just stop, where essentially it's just like, I had an offer the other day, not the other day, but like 2-3 months ago, someone event company wanted to buy essentially my company. It was a good offer, but at the same time, it got me my ball thinking of like, wow, if I leave weddings, I can still have this company at a legacy essentially.
Sure.
But like, is like wedding videography is like legacy, like, is it that deep? But at the same time, it's just like, I did feel like I don't give myself enough credit in terms of the wedding scenes. Like, I think I did do a lot to pivot like the trends and stuff like that. I'm never going to be published at Vogue maybe, but at the same time, I have people pirating the wedding videos, like custom music, everything. Like, people literally download my videos illegally. Yeah. And instead of like, it's plagiarism essentially, but they'll just throw their clips over it.
But that has to turn you on a little bit, right? Because you used to do that.
That's what I'm saying. I used to do that, but I re-edited the videos. You know what I'm saying? I just took their clips. I made the videos my own. They're just taking everything I've done and just calling it their own, essentially, by putting their clips over what I did. Because editing is what defines you, essentially. But, I just like, I tell people, is like, what's the bigger flex? Getting published at Vogue, or people are literally copying?
Yeah, the copying is when you made it.
That's like literally, like, I'm not trying to be arrogant. It's just like humble about it. But like, there's Apple. Everyone steals. Like, like you think of big companies, and when they have their competitor. And I'm just like, I don't need to focus on like now other people, but essentially that's what I'm working on. It's like, I want to make stuff that literally it would take AI to like compete with me.
Yeah. Before we get into all the wedding stuff, firstly, how are you doing?
I got a puppy. He's eating right now, but I just woke up and chose dog. So a little quarter life crisis. I just woke up and chose dog, and it's been the best decision ever.
Really?
Yeah. Like literally, like it's just like literally having. I lived alone for like my whole life, so it's just like after I moved out, right? So just having something where you're kind of just like, I have my 17-year-old koi fish. I'm like, okay, if I can keep a koi fish for 17 years, I can probably keep a dog for at least 12, right?
Yeah.
But this dog has been the cutest thing ever. It's been like, getting me something different in my routine. And I think the recently my structure has been rinse, wash, and repeat. And I think having that new set of things, it's cool.
Do you feel like the structure / responsibility has helped you be like, all right, now I'm going to do other things with such precision?
Yeah, it's just like last few years, I feel like I slowed down because I couldn't meet the demand. Like in terms of my company, I literally couldn't meet the demand. So it's just like, going from COVID to like, 2021 where I did 60 weddings that year all alone.
60?
Reschedules and everything. I did 60 that year. And then 2022, 40. And then I just said, like I love weddings so much. I have to I can't be charging $50K for a wedding and then have people have upset my biggest Achilles heel is the turnaround times, because I don't, I'm saying everything gets made from scratch, music to everything, right? So just like, I can't justify doing a lot of weddings. Like people asking why I do 12 weddings a year. That's mainly it, is because I can't justify paying, charging that amount and just having, turnaround times and stuff like that. And once I have quality control and I can meet the demand, I can probably do more than 12 weddings a year.
So I guess that leads me to how's business right now? What's going on? Tell us about where we're at.
This is where we're at. And this is, you got lucky, let me tell you. It's just I, as a vendor, and I agree with a lot of other vendors, we're in the weirdest times right now. And it has never been worse to get married. I think as a vendor, it's just I used to think I'm part of the problem in the industry, right? It's just okay, you're arrogant, you have this type A form, we have to jump through hoops to talk to you, but there is a reason for that. And it has been even why vendors are becoming more of divas recently. So it's just a lot of people I think have, see social media, they feel like they're entitled to have okay, my wedding has to be that one people talk about. And they just FOMO essentially. So a lot of people, the budgets are, staying the same, but inflation, everything's going up. Venues are double the price. And then people are just cutting corners left and right. They're flying people from foreign countries, and those, people that come here, sometimes they just don't get visas. So I get calls. I don't know if you saw my story, and where I kind of, crashed out is a planner called me at 4:45 a.m. because they thought I was in New York.
Right.
Even that, it's before 9 a.m.
That's still wild, yeah.
Yeah, so, but they called me there 10 times. It's my phone's on silent. So if you call me multiple times, you're going to get in touch with me. And it's a New York number. So I was just listen, I'm it could be an emergency with my parents or something. They live in Jersey. So I was when I woke up, I was really scared. I was oh no.
Damn, really? Because you had seen a number.
I thought it was an emergency. I thought something happened. You know what I'm saying? Someone's trying to get a hold of me at 10 times.
Anything after 9 p.m. when my sibling or parent calls me, I'm like, fuck, something happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's just answer, and then she's like, hey, is this a team from Weekend Project Studios? I'm like, what's the emergency? And then she she's like, are you available this weekend? I had a last second photographer cancel. And I'm like, I'll call you later. And I hung up on her, and then I chucked my phone.
Oh, just to make sure.
I'm just I'll call you later because this is not needed right now. If she said are you available this week? I threw my phone literally after I hung up on her, and I called her in the morning to kind of rant on. Just why would you ever do that? She's like, my couples are super stressed. They their photographer got stuck at the border. All this life story. I'm like, listen, it's just end of the day. One, I'm not going to do this wedding. I'm available this weekend, but I'm not doing it. And two is just the fact is, it's just a lot of these vendors work super hard for their client. And the thing is that's cool that the planner did that actually. She is calling people before business hours, putting her reputation online to find a replacement vendor. Shout out to her for that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think as a vendor, you have to let things go.
It's just on,
It's that your clients booked a foreign vendor. That's that's not on me to
So I guess before we dive into all the wedding madness, ladies and gentlemen, I like to preface everything with, this will probably be the last time I dive deep into some wedding nonsense. Well, actually, I put that with a little asterisk by it because you never know, because sometimes this stuff flares up. I used to have a lot of complaints when I was an attendee at these things. And then, I got much more involved where it's okay, now I'm a groomsman. I'm starting to see a little bit more behind the scenes. Now I'm the groom, and so you see the most of it. I've never been a vendor, right? I've never been a separate MC where, I'm just a brand new couple and they don't know me. So I've never seen that whole side of things. Yeah. So in this conversation, I'm going to be posing as the people that, these motherfuckers just be robbing us. These videographers and shit, they be taking all our money, bro.
Literally, I am the problem.
No. So I understand there will always be perspectives from different things, whether it's like stories we don't hear from behind the scenes, whether it's the photographer, the planner, the fucking caterer, no matter what it is. I'm sure everyone has their gripes. I know as a groom, I was not the easiest person to work with. And then at the same time, it's like, all right, but these people are also acting up, so is this just what it is? How do the personalities, I guess,
it's just like the conversation is just needed because one, unless a girl like actually answered me back on like Domo, like I'm not going to be getting married anytime soon. So I don't see the consumer side of things as much, but I ask a million questions to one couples after they book me. It's just like, how is everything? And it's more so like I see the issues, what they're going through. And I see the TikToks of like people are like, this person's this, that person's that, this Vogue photographer, like whatever their rants are.
Yeah.
But I see the side of why like the vendor side of things are just like, okay, I can see why the vendor is this way. But I can't say that publicly because anytime you try to like not defend the bride, they're just like, it's her special day.
Yeah,
like,
but
those things.
That's,
so
I think that's
like,
a good perspective to have, where it's like, all right, at the end of the day, these people are the most important, right? No matter what my opinion is.
Oh, 100%. Like that's what I'm saying. It's just like I'm team the people who pay the bills, right? Those are like no matter what vendor, like because sometimes you get a bad vendor and you just still have to work. You still have to be on the same team. So it's just
I guess first question, and obviously like I'm not looking to make this like a Shannon Sharp gossip session where you're just like dropping a bunch of right. So but it's more so the overarching of like, I know all these vendors come from separate places, right? So when you have been a vendor at a specific wedding, what do you normally notice the most friction between, whether it's the planner, the caterer, just timing?
In terms of like us vendors, I don't think we ever have an issue during. Like the only time is like if a vendor is going rogue is like my way or the highway. That's the only time I see it where it's just like they're not collaborative. I think most vendors in the wedding industry, they're doing weddings for a reason. I think it's just like for me, I have no shame to admit it. It took me a while to actually. One of my actual brides, like one of my past clients, like she told me this. Like that's when I knew. I didn't even know at the time, but she asked me why I did weddings, and I jokingly said like money, right? But I actually did not know. And then she said like I think it's healing your inner child. She said that at the after party. I'm just like, damn. But yeah, it's just like I think like weddings did fill a void in my life, but like a lot of other vendors, DJs, everyone, like if you really go deep in psychology with it, they have like something that tied to, because we can all make money somewhere else, right? I left a $400,000 job from like opportunity, I guess you can call it, and I still do weddings. Like that's what I'm saying. It's just like instead of doing commercial videography and doing real estate and having like the agency I was with, it was just more so like, this is more like fun for me. This is my brand. This is my baby. I can definitely.
But like the average person that gets into the wedding game, what do you think their motivation is?
It's just more so it's just like it depends on the vendor. Like I can't really speak on what a caterer feels, right? A chef, but I can
say a wedding planner.
Like I just feel like a lot of times, like when I talk to a wedding planner and just seeing why like those phone calls is just like they feel like their weddings are like kind of like they're planning their skill sets and stuff like that validation they never had growing up, and they went behind and hid behind their skill set. And like that's why I see like Elon Musk is like how like before he became that whole MAGA whatever the thing is, like you have to see you have to see Elon Musk's bully like from high school, right? And then he just hid behind what he's good at, making all this, taking big risk, and then it blew it up to I'm a god now, like blah blah blah, and then his ego took away, unfortunately. But before that, it's like I kind of compare it to all the other vendors too. It's just like people kind of brown people especially just hide behind stuff. Like me, I hid behind photography, videography. It was a way to be seen. You know what I'm saying? Before I had that, I was like literally a nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do agree, because I think a lot of times these people get married and they're like, oh, here's a gap in the market, so let me go fix it. And then it's like, then they become the job, and it's like, oh, look, you became the gap. There was no fixing it, actually. There will always be. If a vendor is
after 2 years, I would say, is just more so like they're in it for, because like I would say like the first 2 years of like getting into the wedding industry is kind of like, do I want to stay in or do I want to go pursue something else?
So going back to like your story of this vendor calling you before the sun even came up, and so you did not end up doing that wedding.
No, it's just like at that point, there's a whole like, and I think it was more so politics. Like, it's just I see why the bride booked this vendor. It's more so like, I think it has.
So sorry, give a little bit more context of like, so this bride ended up doing.
She booked a vendor from India.
Okay.
That's what I was told, and like like I checked out the photographer in India just so I was curious on like who got stuck in the border, right? But it was like a big.
Yeah. So what happened? Yeah.
It was a big photographer. It had like 50,000 followers, and I was like, oh, legit. And it was like Vogue India. I was like, all of these publications. I was like, oh, okay. Like, what do you mean they got stuck in the border? And it's just the guy's been doing weddings in the U.S. and when like. I don't want to like say no politics like in terms of president whatever.
No, you're just saying what
like,
you know. Yeah.
They're like in a wedding industry, a lot of people like, oh, by the way, so I got a gig that I almost had, but the budget got cut to nearly 75%. I'm like,
okay.
It was a almost $30,000 quote. They're ready to book, and the couple asked me if I can do 30 hours of coverage, 2 cities, Los Angeles and San Francisco. And basically the quote was they wanted me to match with all these deliverables $10,000. And
for 30 hours of coverage.
30 hours of coverage.
And it's in 2 different cities.
2 different cities. And travel not included.
Okay.
And the thing is literally is just because like the people that you can get for cheaper are people that do things and cut corners. And I'm not going to say like conspiratively. The people that like my international photographer friends, like I like have to say this now. It's just like they're doing it right. Number one thing is visas. They always get their work visas to get their shit together beforehand. If they can't get it beforehand, they literally refund the money. Those are the people that you want to work with. But they not just do that. They hire people in America like me. They like my Pakistani photographer friends. Literally like do you second shoot? I'm like no. And they write a check, not a check, but pay me in cash of like okay, like basically double rent or
yeah. So if I'm a couple getting married and I go with this Pakistani dude's company, and they may hire you as like, hey, I need support on this project. Yeah. So then he would pay you like a whatever percentage or whatever.
Well, like you're just a second shooter. Right? Yeah. My whole team, like they do their own weddings, right? So it's just like more so it's just like it's just subcontractor essentially. Yeah. So it's just more so like, but the fact is like if they do have a issue, they have someone as talented as me to cover that wedding. So it's just like they do it right. Yeah. But the people that cut corners, like this bride and couple, I'm not gonna name names. They probably won't watch this, but I'm just like I literally made that crash shot not because of the 5 a.m. call. It's just because like a planner shouldn't have to be in that situation where like she literally I had to put her whole reputation online just to be kind of flamed by me essentially.
So this person, right? This original vendor was someone in India, and they were coming over to the States.
Yeah, they came probably multiple times or something like that. Because eventually, like the border people, they people, my Canadian friends, they always like they like coming back and forth is scary to them. I'm like, you're a student visa, like why are you scared? And I'm like, it's just like they keep track, like they literally keep track of everything. Yeah. They like end of the day is just like they're going to know if you're coming here for work. Like if you can't just say I'm visiting friends and family every like what I'm saying, they're gonna find out.
Do you know what the percentage difference your quote was from this India group?
I have no idea what in terms of that, but I just know for a fact last 5 years I probably had maybe 1 phone call to say, hey, someone's stuck at the it's just saying the photographer can't make it to the wedding, and that was like probably 2-3 weeks before. And 2020, end of last year to this year, I probably had, including probably this is not just a me problem. This is literally nationwide with a brown any vendor essentially. But I had over like 23 inquiries last second for like 2 weeks for this issue. Yeah. And I think it stems from like.
Did you take any of them?
No, because like the thing is just like as a for example, like this doesn't affect me. I charge this amount of money and it doesn't affect me. Yeah. But there are $8,000 vendors out there. There's vendors like you probably picked that's local that pay U.S. taxes, all this and that. It's just more so. It's just like those people are from foreign countries that don't understand the cost of living here. They just come in and then like literally steal our job. Like that's like the only way to put it. And it's just like I'm not trying to be like in politics. There's plenty of everything out there, but
we should get rid of them, right? No, I'm just kidding.
No, but it's just like but the thing is like I have no idea, like no beef with international stuff. Sure. Just come like it's literally the paperwork is literally you fill it out. I did it just shits and giggles. I'm like, let's fill this out. Let's see how hard it is, the process. And the only thing is the wait time to know if you're going to be okay to come to the U.S. to work for a wedding. And I get that 6 month time is going to be hard for you, but at the same time, it's just like I don't think, because my international photographer friends have no issues coming here and working. So it's just like, what's the excuse to?
So this is my biggest beef, as from the perspective of the people, where it's like, to anyone that has planned a wedding or is about to plan a wedding, and you're feeling unorganized or, you know, like just lost in the sauce, your vendors are just as much lost in the sauce. I'm telling you, like, you think that they are some organized machine and they're just moving. There might be a few. Cool. But I guarantee you, stuff like this, right, where it's like they're filling out paperwork at the last minute.
Yeah.
They're replying to your emails at the last minute.
It's a first-time process for everyone.
Our decorator, last minute, was like re-asking about things on the bomb, where it's like, okay, what are we bringing? What are we, you know, like, and it's like, leave me the fuck alone. Yeah. This shit is in a week. You know, like, why don't you already know this stuff? Yeah. And then we got hit with this last minute stuff where it's like, okay, on Thursday it's set to rain. So, you know, like, we have to change this, we have to do this. And I was like, okay, well, what if it doesn't? Or like, what if we set up and it ends up, like, because we make a decision that it's not going to rain, and then it ends up raining. Yeah. And she hit me with, then it's raining. Yeah. I said, what do you mean? You know, like, figure it out. And then I will say, where it's like, I was given suggestions where it's like, you didn't think of this, you know, like, oh, we have to set this tent up on this lawn and, you know, it might rain. It's like, okay, so then why don't you do it on this day? Yeah. And what ended up happening for hours, which was one big beef of mine, was like, they set up this tent the day that it was raining. So they had to stop. Then they had to add extra hours the next morning to set it up. Yeah. And now this whole lawn was moist. Yeah. So you're just around. The dance floor is a fucking slip and slide. And so it became this thing where it's like, why, you know, like, you're just not you're also not as organized as I thought you were. Yeah. So I'm over here like, fuck, you know, I forgot to get back to this person. I forgot to do this. I forgot to do this. But it's like, they're also just as behind as you are. So this paperwork stuff, I do understand where, you know, they should be on top of it, but
no, it's just more so as like, I talked to like the international photographer friends, like, you know, why are they doing so, like, even the international photographer friends, like, you know, that charge, you know, a lot of money in, you know, their countries, or like, why are you charging, like, because I got a quote from one of my friends that like just did 2 weddings in the States, and I know she charges like the same price as me. And then this one bride reached out to me and her budget wasn't there. And the next thing you know, that Pakistani photographer reached out. He's like, hey, are you free this weekend? I'm like, at the same venue. I'm like, is this bride? And then she's like, yeah. It's just like, what should I charge her? I quoted her X amount of money. I'm like, that's like, I'm like, why are you just, she's like, this venue is kind of nice. Like, you know, I want to tell people, you know, it's just portfolio reasons. Yeah. So they did like a portfolio rate, whatever it is. But the people are desperate to come here to the States to, you know, get in the market. That's what it is. The cutting prices, cutting corners, doing 30 hours of coverage for $8,000. Like, I pay my team like $8,000 to like, you know, come and work with me. So let alone just like, I have to now do a quote for 10K. It's just like, no, it's like
everyone starts eating less.
But like, the thing is, I asked, like, people ask me, like, would you book a Gen Z vendor? And I always say absolutely not. Because it, like, for me, it's like, I've been humbled and blessed at the same time, where it's just like, I didn't go to business school. I figured this shit out on the fly, as well as like everything, like paperwork, all this and that. No one coached me. I'm self-taught everything. So it's just like learning the whole process. I learned it with the couple, and my clients, like, I thank them every single day. Like, I am humbled and blessed because they never took it out on me. They never left me a bad review. They never, like, you know, took me to court. Like, you know, I'm not a perfect person. My biggest flaw right now is turnaround times, which I'm working on. But, you know, it's just like in the beginning of the process, just like delivery expectations. Like, I set my expectations high, so maybe that's why it's just like a lot of my growth came from that. Just like, you know, one of my clients is like, you know, I did a whole preview with them. It's just like in the car, like during the engagement shoot, like edited the photos, gave it to them. She like looked and she's like, cool, that's it, no reaction. So I'm like, did I do a bad job? It's just like, but you know, I was filming the reaction and I was just like, oh, it's no reaction. And then she told her friend about, like, you know, it was kind of awkward for them. And then the friend told me about it. And it's just like those type of things I learned. But, you know, it's more so like she told the friend, just like, well, I paid him X amount of money. Like, I know his work's good. Like, that's what I paid him for. I expected that. She said that to her friend. Yeah. So I'm just like, wow. It's just like more so like, you know, my expectations are already there. So I have to expound. And that was the client that did the same day edit, like reception back in the same day edit for the first time ever. And their jaws dropped. So it's just like going from, we don't react. Like, I talked to them about it, clear the air. She's like, oh, sorry, we're just not that couple that gives reactions. And they give me the best reaction.
The baseline does get adjusted. Like, if you start doing good, then the baseline starts moving in that direction.
you have to set rules and expectations and boundaries. That's the one thing any client, like I would say, is just like comes in. That's what they want to see. You are the reflection of the client. So if I'm confident at what I'm doing, welcome to downtown Los Angeles.
There's no way. What the fuck was that sound?
Fireworks.
Fireworks?
Yeah.
Bro, on July 25th? It's wild.
Yeah. This is funny as always times. I hope we got that on audio, but it's just more so like your reflection of your client. So if I'm a confident person, like, and you see that confidence in my work and my contracts, everything I do, it like you see that, you reflect on that. You're like, okay, this is a confident vendor. We're gonna go with them. But if I'm like, not replying back to emails, if I'm not straightforward, if the pricing doesn't make sense, like, or you seeing if cutting corners, this is where I hear from my clients of why they didn't go with someone else. They went with me, is because I make the process for them like so professional, so easy, so just straight up like more relatable than someone that's like a sneezy car salesman trying to like what do you want, because every vendor is going to try to land the gig. They want to say stuff you want to hear. I have no filter. So it's just like,
no, I definitely have a lot of beef with some vendors after our stuff, but the one thing I'll say is you expect a result from the money, right? I'm paying you money. X should happen now. Yeah. And it's really hard to have that happen until it actually starts happening. So the lead up, I understand all the negotiating and all the like, I don't like, can you do it for 10K? Can you do it for this? Can you do it for this? Because you have a fear of like, what if mine goes wrong? So as we had to book all these vendors, the fucking valet person, the shuttle person, the security attendant, the person that does flowers and all that stuff, it's all so worrisome. And then you finally get to the event. And I'm saying from my experience, because I'm sure a lot of people have had like a negative thing.
Yeah.
So I remember just driving around on the golf cart, like on the venue that we had, Hummingbird Nest Ranch. And I was like, oh shit, like this is happening. Like the money that I paid these people, they weren't just lying to me.
Yeah.
Right. They're actually coming here to do the job. They're setting up this, they're doing this. And it's like, oh shit, like this is finally all coming together. When the DJ starts doing good, it's like people being like, oh yo, this DJ is great. And it's like, oh shit, okay, like, because I had this vision in my head where I hired this person because I knew, okay, I liked it, so I think the masses will like it. And then the same thing for caterer,
100%.
where it's like, oh shit, this is going good.
Yeah.
So when I reflected on my wedding, I think I did a small episode about it where it was just like the basics went really good.
Yeah.
There was a lot of shit where I thought this is unnecessary. Like we had to have a bunch of valet drivers for like 6 cars. It's just like, and then I would get into these, dude, I legitimately got into a yelling match with the valet dude.
Damn.
Because I was like, hey man, like this is the quote I'm getting. I've used ChatGPT to research this stuff, and like I don't understand how it makes sense to have 6 vendors park 20 cars or whatever it is, or 6 valet attendants park 20 cars.
Yeah.
Because if we're doing the math, and I'm going by the math that you provided me, right? You say, okay, one attendant should be doing 10 cars. Okay, well, I have a shuttle that's going to take X amount of people. I subtract that from the total, so I have this. Okay, I should have this many attendants. Well, we got to have this, we got to have this. And it's like, what do you mean? And then he literally started being like, well, you use ChatGPT. And it's like, motherfucker, do you not understand that ChatGPT is smarter than you and me? Like, it has taken data from everyone's shit. And I understand I shouldn't use that as the word of God, right? But, like, don't doubt this. And don't start coming
religious. Sometimes it's good, sometimes like in terms of that, but you just can't, like, what I'm saying, it doesn't know. Like,
sure.
But like the thing is, why I see the issue with the vendor, and then that I see it now. Like I'm like, okay, I can see where like the miscommunication, the expectation, the guidelines is like, it's just like I'm a yapper, so that's why I never have miscommunications with my clients. I literally have no filter. I literally clean cut. I'm like, what is the process? But also my clients, they don't have my personal assistant. There's no, I don't have like when it's come to the day-to-day stuff, it's all me, all market, everything. Like, and I tell them, don't email me, just text me. And then
that's also the worst part, is when there's like a third party that you have to go through.
Yeah. So it's just like, what can I do to make my client's life easier? And that's why it's just expectations by literally just, I listen to my clients. I think that's the one thing, but I remember. There's a big difference between listening and remembering. So like, you're getting all these concerns and stuff like that. It's best for a vendor to kind of understand like the process and things, but there's also like representation, because like, for example, that client that was getting, married, whatever, and they're going with someone else. They're like, they're asking me like, mood boards and stuff. They sent me, can you recreate this photo? They're getting married at a conference center indoors. That's the ceremony, right? But they sent me their mood board. It was all destination weddings, all outdoor ceremonies, sunset, this and that. Insane. And then like, I'm just like, guys, and this is probably why I didn't get the gig, because I just literally told them the truth. I'm like, you have to set the right expectations.
Sure.
Because like when people book like a Vogue photographer, people don't understand. You're paying $60K to model for their portfolio. They like I worked with some of the best, like quote unquote best, and my company caters to the experience. You're gonna get the best experience with me and my team. We're not talking deliverables. You're talking like I literally go up to the parents and like by the time the end of the wedding is just like they literally think of me as their child. So that's like the things I do to take care of my like like the thing, all the guests, like I never have like all the guests, I party with them. I literally go the after, like not because I like invite myself.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, if you get it, I think it's just, I never like that's a one rule of thumb when people see my stories, just like I will not go to an after party unless I'm invited.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's my rule of thumb. And anytime it's like in terms of like anything, it's just like I'm not going to include myself. It's your wedding, whatever this, but that's the best compliment I get is when the best compliment I ever got was a bride. Was it the groom's sister? A guest came up to him, so he's like, "How long were the photographer and the groom like friends? Like they seem like they're lifelong friends." And the bride's like, "They met like 3 days ago."
Yeah.
And that was like when she told me that, I was just like, "Wow, I really filled in, like fit in."
That's
like,
a good time. It's wild how like the personalities will click. Where it's like, okay, you giving me respect, I'll give you respect, and this will work. This will work. And then anytime that line gets broken, for example, this valet dude yelling at me, like he started bringing the sass first, and I was just like, yo, the amount of shit I'm under right now, I don't have time for this. So that's when it starts like that relationship won't work.
Me and upset, like it rarely happens. I don't remember a time where they're really upset at me, but like I literally
imagine yelling, bro.
It's just like more so like yelling. It didn't have to go to yelling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
End of the day, if you're in the wrong, or even if you're not, you just have to understand. Put yourself in your shoes. That's all I always do. It's just like anytime like a situation happens, whatever it is, or a client, like the biggest disagreements I get is more so like when it comes to travel. Like a lot of times, like I get saving money. You booking a Gujarati vendor, like you're getting that Guju quality as like getting the cheapest rate, like in terms of travel. I make it easy for my clients.
Sure.
I get the cheapest price. But sometimes it was just be like, like, hey, this nonstop is like $40 more than this one with a connection. That's the one. Can we save $40? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
More so it's just like I have to set the expectations off the gate. That way there's no yelling ever. The only time I ever got yelled at was by an uncle because I told him to put his phone away. He walked in front of me and my team. Numerous
This is during
times.
wedding ceremony?
Yeah. Then eventually I just told uncle, just stay, like, just you can film, just go this side. And then he started yelling at me for the ceremony, and it was like one thing I just like always like dealt with. I'm like, okay, just ignore it.
I guess a good quick tangent.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Okay, it's the wedding ceremony. People are told to put their phone away. I think this has been a growing trend of like if you're not even. I think it started as just the people on the inside lane, and then it was like, okay, everyone keep your phone away.
Yeah.
And then there's always one or two still. But how do you feel about like, is that a reasonable thing for brides or whomever to ask? Or is that just like inevitable?
The photo and video is just like, let's pretend like, when's the last time you actually looked at something that you took from 2 to 3, 4 years ago, right? And everyone will actually do the same answer. We haven't looked at that photo. They're not going to look at that ceremony photo. They're not going to. When you take a photo at any type of event or like that, especially during the ceremony, you have a million opportunities. I never said like you don't have your cell phones. I want people to take their photos with their friend groups, whatever. Take as many photos as you want. But there's a time and place for that. And during the ceremony, it's just like, what's wrong with being present? So like after that uncle like hit me, almost hit me. Wanted to fight me. He's like in the parking lot, literally mid ceremony. I just ignored him, and I didn't think it was a big problem until everyone after the ceremony went up to me. It's just like, you handled that as a champ, man. I'm like, was it? And I took my team. Was that a big deal? They're like, yeah, bro, that was pretty bad. But I ignored it the entire time. But after that, I just told myself there's got to be a solution. So. As of still now, I haven't had a cell phone since 2023, like during the ceremony, because me and my team, we go all out to kind of like, one, we do same day previews. I think that really helps because a lot of people, what I used to see when I don't do that, a lot of people would take a photo like during the wedding, like on their phone. Now what they do is just screenshot my like stories, which is great. Like they don't tag me, but like that is great. Yeah. It literally takes so much pressure off the bride. It's because they a lot of,
we're talking entrance only, right?
We're talking the whole wedding.
The whole wedding? You think people won't have their phones out?
There's we're talking everything. Like I see, like during the ceremony, I think it's fine. You can take a photo. But I think during like the thing where like these photos and videos are going to last longer than like what people think. They're going to last after we pass away because these photos are now living time capsules.
Phones at a wedding, right? Phones at a wedding. I want to be more specific. Phones during the entrance, right?
Yeah.
So
time capsule. It's just like these photos and videos last a lifetime. Like it's going to be passed down to generation. It's going to be on Google Drive somewhere. It's going to be somewhere. Like the reason why we haven't seen our families like wedding photo, it's all printed. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's sitting in a closet, like somewhere ready to be like. That's the thing. It's like if you're having any type of like archives right now, I told my parents like get the hard drives, get like prints, let's back it up, right? Like do it now because like Deepish is the best example and why he takes like pride in his work is like he had a house fire, and lost everything. So he takes very pride of
when he stuff on the cloud.
No, but like he takes pride of like documenting it because he lost everything and he doesn't have anything to like pass down. This is where it's like my mom, like whatever this is. So I take pride of like knowing that. This is not just for now. This is going to be like, I see the TikTok trends of like posting like my parents when they were like 30. And like those videos are viral, like, dad in like, muscle, shirt or whatever, muscle car or whatever it is. I just know these photos and videos are going to be on like TikTok in like 80 years from now. Like, look at my parents' like wedding video.
Yeah.
They use like Waka Waka Flame.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, look, kids, let me tell you about Drake. Sit down.
I feel you. Like, but here's my like the two sides of my belief of people recording the entrance, right? I understand the want to make sure like, okay, no phones in the video, right? But at the same time, like this is just the era we're in. We are in the cell phone era. If you go back and look at any concert footage, all that stuff, people didn't have phones out because you couldn't record that shit on a Motorola Razr. So now, like, the concept of, like, oh, I have this amazing camera in my pocket. And, you've seen it, right? You go to a concert. Now everyone has their phones out. For stuff that they'll never see. For stuff that, for sure, I know that stuff never goes around or you might make a TikTok, whatever. But for this wedding stuff, the reason I do see, like, okay, fuck it. Everyone just record what you want. Because I think you'd be surprised at how much some of these uncles and aunties do share it with, like, another person. Right? Where it's just like, I know this person wasn't able to attend, so I'll share it. And so I'm like, cool, do your thing, like.
So that's you. So you allowed phones during the ceremony.
I'm fine with it. Like, I understand it hurts the aesthetic, and don't you dare break that barrier, that middle line barrier, right? Don't you put your hand out and get a better angle. No. And so I like the idea of like you assign people to the end seats, right? Where it's like, okay, none of these people will have phones. I can trust them. Like you said, like you beforehand, you can go up to each person and be like, hey, remember, no phone, no phone. But in the audience, do your thing. Like, this is one of the most beautiful encapsulating moments you'll ever see of this person's life. And it'll only last about 10 seconds. So if anything, take a picture of this shit. Don't take a picture of us when we're on the stage. You can get that shit later, right? But as far as the entrance video, and the biggest thing is like, you take that video, right? How much time will it take for me to get to see that?
It depends on what package you book.
That's what I'm saying, right? But but not even as a couple, as an attendee.
That's what I'm saying. It's just more so like, like the broad question I want to ask is like, why do you want to, like, say why, like, say if you're on a roller coaster, do you want to film the roller coaster? Like, but no, it's just like, you want to, like, can you just, because for me, it's actually like the one crazy part is like, I film all these stuff. I'm a camera guy, but like, ask me how many photos I took of like my family. How many times do I go out to the public and just not have the vlog or like take photos of my dog? Essentially, it's just more so. I think being present is so underrated. Like, more so just like I asked the people, because I straight up asked like the people that are repeat people that I see at other weddings as well. They were bridesmaid at this one, and then I'm like, was I too anal about the ceremony? They're like, no, T, like you're actually like, I'll be honest, like I stopped taking videos during the ceremony because after like knowing that I'm not like, she had that FOMO at the fact of like, okay, like I didn't have this like the video walking down for my story, but like, is your Instagram really worth just being present and like just like enjoying it? Because the couple pays so much money for me, but for a ceremony, everything like that. Why would you want to have unpaid content creators essentially?
Because it's like, so as the couple, I can understand why that might be because your case, right?
You've been
but as the attendee of that, I'm gonna have my phone out and recording. It's because of the repeatability, right? I can always go on that roller coaster again.
Yeah.
I can always, I more than likely won't be at this concert ever again.
Yeah.
I won't see this person get married ever again. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take this piece of footage, and if I ever want to share it, or, you know, I get to a conversation like, oh, you went to that person's wedding? Yeah, check it out. I have this thing where it's like, you know, you get to see this one moment.
That's what I'm saying. Is it like the big moments? So I'm talking more so I'm 100% okay with that. I'm okay with filming during like dances or like whatever the thing is where it kind of calls like filming, like, because those dance performances, like, I never ever like tell someone, unless they're like right next to me and the dance floor is small, I would never tell someone to put their phones away for like the Sungeet dances.
Yeah.
Because I was a part of one of those as a vendor, actually. I did my cousin's wedding. And they made me do the dance like right before, and I was just like, these guys were practicing for months, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I want to see, you know, videos of me dancing like there. I've made my team film it.
That's funny that you say that.
So it's just more so like there's a time and place for it. I agree with that. But when it comes to intimate moments that you just want to look and just be present, I think ceremony, especially when it comes to the big stuff, very important.
Yeah.
But just stay away from the photo video team that the couple paid a lot of money for. Don't get in front of them. Don't interrupt it. Don't stand next to them. It's just more so, or the biggest thing is just like the family photos. Because we have to do I don't know how many you did at your ceremony, but you know, when it comes to like a list of 40, I can do, you know, my record is 36 groups in like less than 32 minutes.
That's solid. Yeah.
Because more so is just I have a system in place, but I had to say no to, because this is not me wanting to do it. I told the couple, how fast do you want to go? Do you want to slow down and talk to every single person? They're like, no, fuck, I need a nap. I have a good nap rate. Like, while my wedding planner's like, I put a nap time for the bride. I didn't think she was going to make it, but she had 40 more minutes in her nap because of you. I'm like, yes, I know. You're welcome. But the fact is, more so is just like, where I was going to end with is like handing a photographer a phone after you took a professional photo. I see why like you need that photo in the moment. I always like when you hand a phone to me during a group photo, it's like, even if you don't, I go and tell the person like, do you want me to take this on the phone? I literally do take photos on the phone, and I happily do it.
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing a photo on my camera, why not? Like, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to group photos and the moments where the time is just not there to take every single photo, you know, it's just like, or like a moment, or we're ruining a $40,000 photographer shot. Like, there's time and place. That's all I'm saying.
I definitely think, yes, you know, there's some like authenticity to some moments. And then, like you said, the dances thing, I found that funny because people have almost overcorrected. We were trying to find the person with the video of our dances, right? Like, we know that the videographer probably got something, but what happened to the group of like people's significant others that used to be behind the couple recording? You know, like, where the fuck have y'all been? Yeah. And we had some uncles and stuff, but we didn't follow up with them to get the videos, you know, where it's like, oh shit, like they're probably not going to watch this, but we don't have it now.
Yeah.
And so now I have to, I got to go back to the videographer. Hey, I actually do want to buy this package.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, you know, like,
and then we were like, oh man. And then videographers are the worst. When I include raw footage for free for a reason, because like the stuff that people are booking content creators for nowadays is just like those moments that quote unquote the photographer videographers don't get, that you think is just like, I have to go buy the raw footage. I'm just like, I just been marketing my raw footage wrong. It's been like, you know, I do the cheesiest stuff. I like literally go to the groomsmen like, all right, this footage you'll never see the light of day. Go roast the groom, like whatever it is. And then, you know, some of the blackmail stuff is kind of crazy what the groomsmen do, but it's just like those type of home video vibes. I literally like think of myself as an uncle, like filming the home videos. Like, you're going to cherish this video way more than my edited videos down the road.
I want to keep a note on that because that'll take me to another point. But before we close out what you originally asked, right? Like, would I hire a Gen Z vendor? Mm-hmm. What, like, do you mean something specific or?
Yeah. So like for me, it's just like when I'm looking back of like, how did I even lock in this person, right? Mm-hmm. How did I not get canceled, fired, or put on blast or bad reviews? It's just more so my clients were always super patient and trusting the process. But nowadays people are expecting the Amazon best customer service, best everything, like all this expectations. So it's just like, if you're booking a Gen Z vendor, I know a lot. I grew, like, as a human, I grew significantly. Like, I was much more mature for my age and my business owner like aspect than like, you know, I see another Gen Z kid that still is dealing with his inner child syndrome and like, you know, just trying to figure out who he is as a person. And it's really affecting the clients. Like, you know, there's couples that like the photographers that I know that are younger than me. that are significantly burnt out because they don't understand their why, like why they're doing it. And they're taking out on their clients by not editing their work, whatever there is. But the growth is like, if you trust the growth of the process, like, you know, a lot of people trust me because I do the shit. I prove it over and over again. But Gen Z people haven't done that to prove themselves. So just like, unless like they have shown proof of it, I would not book a Gen Z vendor just because you don't know what roller coaster is. Like, you know, you don't know what, while it's a startup mode essentially.
Yeah.
My company's been in startup mode and recently kind of got out, but it's more so just like in 2020, when I really took my first viral video on TikTok, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing in terms of like business, this and that, like contracts, you know, LLCs, all this stuff. You know, it took a while, and like I didn't have a business coach or anything like that. And all vendors are the same. There's no vendor that I know that really specifically went to like school for this. We don't know. We're not. There's no wedding playbook. You know what I'm saying? It's just like we are figuring this out as much as the couple is figuring this out. So
our approach to that, our approach to like the Gen Z, I guess it was more so just like, where are they at in the chain of this business? You know, I don't want the top of the line. So this was my wife and I had a like we both agreed on this, where it's like, okay, we don't want top of the line. We also don't want someone that's doing their first wedding.
Yeah.
But we want the person that's kind of clawing up.
Yeah.
We're okay with that, and we'll deal with some of the drawbacks. And so
I think that's a lot of my first clients too.
Key things, right? Okay, stuff like the food, you can't really get that wrong. So let me go a little bit higher on this, right? DJ, all right, you know, this is a big, like some of the basics you have to do good on.
Yeah.
The photography, videography, I was definitely like, this is an area that I will be okay with a certain degree.
Yeah.
So even when we did the engagement shoot, and I was a big fan of our videographer, Wandered Stories, cool dude, not Indian. This was their first Indian wedding.
Yeah.
So I was like, you'll be fine. You like, and now hopefully this opens your portfolio to more Indian weddings, you know, like after you, you know, throw us on your Instagram, you tag us, whatever. Yeah. Cool. Do your business. Our decorator, bless her soul, she had no idea what she was doing for an Indian wedding. And it definitely came back where it's like, shit, you know, like you kind of, you definitely struggled with this.
Yeah.
But for, vendors like photography, where I think my wife's a pretty good photographer. And I was like, for our engagement shoot, let's just have you do it. Let's just have you take the pictures, because then I'll be fine with whatever the output is. Versus if I pay $1,500, now I have an expectation of like, damn, I better be blown away. You know, you better add some hair to my head and all this shit. And it's like, damn. So then that expectation's kind of set and missed sometimes. Whereas like, going back to your dad point of like the uncle with the video, is like some of that stuff's fine. Like this concept of, I need to have a same day edit. I need to have, you know, 30 hours of footage. Like, I think that's where things have gotten very skewed, where you don't actually need all that stuff.
Because I had a conversation with one of my type A, like I love type A, like brides, because they know what they want.
Sure.
But this one was particularly, she like burst out, like after the engagement, we're at In and Out, and she was like bursting out in tears, like after, because like I was just talking more so like, because like she's very stressed of like, you know, making this wedding so perfect. For me as a vendor, and the one thing I always wanted to get off my chest, I don't want to be a $40,000 vendor. I actually don't want to charge $50K. I actually want to literally, if I'm happy with it, like I can just pay a little bit for rent and charge $15K. I'll be the happiest man alive, because weddings have filled so much void in my life. But finding those clients that actually take you seriously for that price range is just so hard, because they're shopping around so much. And when I'm a when people are offering me $50K to shoot their weddings, and I'm offering for $15K, and you're not taking me seriously, like I have to raise my prices because no one's respecting me at that point. But at that point, I was like, the same situation with her was like, she wanted this, she wanted that. I'm like, can I ask why essentially you want all this stuff? And then it just got deep down to the root of things of just like, why do people want X amount of things? I think from a vendor standpoint, as long as you have good food, good music, and good vibes, like literally, because I grew up with a small family, so more so like heart to heart is just like, I just know for a fact my brother's getting married actually.
Really?
Well, he has. He's marrying a not Indian girl.
Okay.
So white girl. Bless her heart, Sam. I love her. But doctor, like literally everything on paper, like literally if she was brown, she's the perfect, like, you know, person for him, like in terms of parents, right?
Yeah.
But my mom, she's still getting around.
But I feel like they're opening up. Yeah.
But the thing is just more so like my mom is throwing, like, just to satisfy her, I hope this podcast she's gonna hear this, but more so just like she's throwing this big engagement party, and I just being a brown vendor, I understand why weddings are 500, 600 guests.
Yeah.
Our parents never had a output to host. You know what I'm saying? Your parents, like in terms of like your parents, they're good hosts. Like if anyone comes over,
right,
great hosts. When you have a wedding, essentially, you know, it's your first time like bringing people from like that you haven't seen, your friend groups, all this and that. They want to invite everyone. My mom just called me the other day. She's like, "Do you want to invite any of your friends over?"
Right.
I'm like, my friends don't know our family. Like, they don't need to be there. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'll invite them for my wedding, essentially. Like, it'll be fine. And then she was upset because she's just like, well, I just want, like, you know what I'm saying? So everyone's just like, you know, doing all these things to impress people that they don't really need to impress, essentially. Yeah. But I'm just saying, it's just like, if you have the basics laid out, and like for me as a photographer, videographer, I think it's just like what I find the best is to cherish these moments, because, you know, you never know. Like the stories I get, like if someone passes away, whatever, this and that, like, you know, the story that I like resonate with a lot is this bride that found me on TikTok. And it was like one of the things that I heard from, you know, a long time ago. It was on our anniversary. The groom OD'd, and they had a kid. And, you know, the only thing this kid can remember now is going to be the wedding photos of their family all together. And they're, you know, this is one of the stories. It's just like, as a photographer, take your job seriously to document more than like making yourself about the portfolio, about the portraits, all this and that. Because you never know when a moment like is going to be taken away. Mm-hmm. And like, when's the next time you're going to be a professional, like go get professional photos done? Yeah. When's the next time you're going to get a family group photo done? When's the next time you're going to get a professional photo of you and your mom? So, like, those are the things that a lot of people are not understanding why important photography, videography. Like, screw the content creator. Let's be honest. Like, yeah, it's cool to get those moments, but like, even for videography, I'm like hype style right in this. But if you just get the bare bone minimums of like documentation, that's all you really need for photography, videography. You don't need a $50,000 Vogue photographer.
The only thing I want to add to that is, yes, and people should just keep taking pictures. You know, like document the stuff.
Yeah, we're all, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to bring up 9/11, but like there's recently a time of like AI is actually making these things 4K now, like film and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like realizing, like, you know, 9/11, I'm seeing all this footage for the first time, like people reacting, you know, like the voices you hear, and because it's 4K, you're like literally thinking you're like there. But like the fact is, there are people that document, like instead of like looking up at the towers speechless, they filmed and documented. Yeah. And those videos are the most important things to remember how people, Americans, like people don't understand. Like when you look at a history book, it's not just words, it's photos and images. Mm-hmm. And like as a photographer standpoint, yeah, like let's not go deep because you're a wedding videographer, but like thing is, you have your own history book essentially at your wedding essentially.
So coming back to the wedding thing is like my biggest, so the reason we got sent our wedding pictures already. Yeah. And we're still waiting for like the videos and stuff, but I wasn't like excited to go look at it, because in my head, I'm like, man, as much as I appreciate some dope pictures, right? Yeah. And I do also like the authenticity of the old school camcorder in hand, the uncle that's just going around recording the whole wedding. Yeah. And now I know, okay, I have paid this money. And it's one thing when you have these live vendors, right? The music happens in front of you. The food happens in front of you. But for this, where they're just doing their thing and they seem present, right? I think they're doing a good job. Mm-hmm. But now, am I going to be disappointed with the product? Yeah. But do I just keep avoiding it? Am I going to open it up soon? Like, I still haven't watched it. And one of the biggest things is like, I was a big fan of the same day edit. Yeah. You know, I feel like I have a certain vision when it comes to video, like artsy stuff. Yeah. More than I would say the typical groom. And when the same day edit happened, I was like, dog, this was great. You know, like I appreciate it. And you didn't do too much. You didn't do too little. This was good. But now give me the file, because my dad doesn't have Instagram to go look at this, right? Yeah. And we still haven't received the file. Yeah. It's like, come on, bro. Like, give me the file, you know? Yeah, yeah. So that's the one thing where I'm just like, sometimes the transaction, like, there's just these undertones where it's like someone isn't getting what they want, you know? Yeah.
And that's my biggest flaw is turnaround times, is because one, it's just like doing, you know, all those weddings and stuff. And one, I actually don't, if I can go back in time, I would not regret, because I grew so much within doing all those weddings. Yeah. Like I literally grew like as a new person because of it. Financially, like this is like the best thing in my life to kind of like there. But like, I have, as not publicly admitted, like, turnaround times have been so like significantly. Those weddings are almost.
So we're looking at some. If you're watching this on video, we got a full whiteboard behind us.
Some of these weddings are over a year. Actually.
So you break this down by you have the different couples here, then you have it into 3 main stages: deliverables, organization, editing, and then photography. Yeah. And then do you just kind of go down the line here, one column at a time?
Like time blocking. It's more so like because. One, I think it's like I played college football and I did well. Like, how was I able to, when I first started, do a week of turnaround times? And this is more so having structure is very important for any business owner or for anybody in general. But making sure is just like the process is simplified. Like, don't be overwhelmed with it. Like, start by importing. Start by then selecting clips of music and then dedicating those time blocks to like editing and all that. So that way you're kind of knowing anytime you go to the editing desk, you know what you're doing. That way you're not like just like, oh, let me look at music and then procrastinate. And because I have ADHD, so this is really.
Is there anything underneath these sticky notes, or do you write on the sticky note?
More so, just a tab. They're all color coordinated. So just like on this desk, pink tab is import the clips, and I don't leave this desk until the clips are imported. Essentially, so it's more so like. This is just my ADHD brain kind of unwinding the process, I guess, essentially. It's dumbing it down. But this is basically it. But, turnaround times is my Achilles heels, but I haven't had a revision in over 5 years for a reason. Everyone gets the same amount because one thing in my contracts is I don't have a due date. I do that for a reason because, like, for me, it's just like, knowing that these photos and videos are paid a lot of money for, first off. But knowing that in 80 years from now that this thing is going to be timeless from that, and like I look at my work from like 3 years ago, and I still feel like I can still post it like today. That's what I'm saying.
What should be the expected like? A couple should expect the turnaround time be X amount of months to receive.
I want to make
what?
Yeah.
No, not you necessarily, but like I guess as an industry standard, what do you think it should be?
Industry standards all over the place. It's just like high-end luxury vendors, like they have year turnaround times. Like when I talk to vendors that are like literally charging $60,000-$70,000, I'm like, what's your turnaround time? They're like, oh, maybe a year or so.
A year,
like,
yeah.
And then it just depends on the vendor. Like for me, it's just like. I don't use AI. I don't use everything. Everything's scratch. Like music is like handpicked. Everything's so like, everyone gets the same amount of time, but I call it the drive-through effect. So more so if you look at like someone that probably got an 8-minute video, but the person, I edit in order. That's the biggest thing. So if someone gets like a 40-minute video, and I don't outsource. That's the one thing is everyone, their mom says like, outsource, get an assistant editor. It's just like I tried so many times, and it's just more so like dumping money into training someone and finding someone that can just think like me. It's just like it's not because I'm anal and trying to like just say I have to do everything. It's more so like, this is going to work for me now. I'd rather figure out an editor when I have the time capacity to like train them, do all that things. But more so is just like all this stuff. Everyone gets the same amount of attention to detail, no matter who you are, no matter if you paid $60,000 if you paid $18,000.
Right.
You're getting the same amount of attention and love.
So I do have one more main question for you, but I wanted to leave some time with like if there's anything more that you want to cover.
Yeah.
So I'll throw it over to you now.
More so is just like the biggest issue I see in the wedding industry right now, and the best advice I can give to a couple is the longer the decision is to lock in vendors and price and wherever that is, the more stress you have. The more options you have also. It's going to add more stress to like the people. The reason why people are stressed at weddings is because their lack of decision making. It's not because of money. And I always tell people it's like when people say, Atit, you're out of the budget. I'm like, it's not a budget issue. It's more of a priority issue. If you're not confident in the pricing and the work and all that, and you're shopping around with 20 other vendors, and that's the one issue as vendors and why they're anal and type A and make people jump through hoops to talk to them. Is people don't understand we're not Jeff Bezos. We don't have teams of like 20, 30 people, call centers, salespeople. Like we are individuals that, are day to day just like you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We have a family. We have stuff like do. And, 2023 and it was the worst year for like, I used to get 100 plus inquiries a day. And people are like, wow, that's good. You should be blessed. If you have 100 plus inquiries and you're barely going to get 1 or 2 to book you, and you're getting all these people that gaslight you and saying, hey, yeah, you're the only person. We're not talking to anyone else, this and that. And I ask them what the budget is, right? So there's no excuse on like you're over budget, wherever this is and that. but it's more so like consults, all this and that. Each client that doesn't book me is about an hour or two of my time gone. So I spent over 50 hours in total of non-bookers. So that's why my type A form, people always ask about. It's like the most unpopular opinion about is just like, why is this form like this? It's to protect my time. And the fact is, like, I raised my prices almost double, actually.
So sorry, what is this form you're talking about?
So my form is like making people to jump through hoops, essentially. Not jump through hoops, but make
So I inquire about you. Hey, will you do my wedding? What happened?
Yeah, so
do you send me a form?
So I ask every question possible. It's like not just dates, price, whatever this, I'll get in touch. I ask for dates, tell me your story. Like, I actually do read it. I actually generally, and it tells me about who's serious or not. The people that don't fill it out are never booking me. And, I actually give them the time of day of like, here's a quote, never book me. The people that make it 2-3 pages long for me, like, those are the people that booked me yesterday. So it's just like, I ask them what your story is. What's about your wedding? I ask them basically the consult, like the 1 hour consult I do, just on the form. That's all it is. It's basically every question I would ask on a consult. That way, when we get on a phone call, we answer questions, we get to business, we get a quote, boom, done.
Yeah.
But I ask the questions off the gate of like, what is it about the wedding? What is about me that is like, do you see me as your vendor, essentially? And I ask them those serious questions. A lot of people don't fill out that form. And those are the people that I want to avoid of like, I'm not going to offer the best price. So it's just like, let's save some time here for everyone. You're going to find a vendor in your price range and you're going to like him. Like, don't worry about like, you're going to pick a bad photo video vendor.
The people have no argument in that statement.
Yeah.
Except for that form does suck ass because it's just like
you're trying
to
sit
there.
You're trying to get.
I feel it. Obviously respect. I understand why you do it, right? But
yeah.
as the people, it's like another thing.
I would
we
love
have
to
to
hear
do?
the people. Is just how do I stop people from wasting my time respectfully?
It's not,
like that's
I don't
what
think
I'm
it's
saying.
possible.
Because I told you earlier. It's just like I charge like for example, I raised double my prices. Because I have a lot of people in during 2025 they're cutting prices because like the economy. And just like my last non-booker, I'm just like, I'm done with this. I'm a $50,000 vendor.
Yeah.
I can charge that amount, and I'm confident about that amount. But they were rent-free because they wanted someone on Vogue, and because she has FOMO, she has like the things that she wanted a Vogue photographer are the reasons that that it has nothing to do with what she actually wants. She just wants to be in Vogue, right? And the fact is, I say this humbly. It's just like Vogue is never going to publish her because she's getting married in the United States in a conference center, and it's just more so like. Vogue is looking for destination weddings, interracial couples. Like, no matter what, it's like you're booking a $50,000 photographer to be a literally portfolio piece, to model, to be burnt out before cocktail hour. Because I worked with this photographer before. Mm-hmm. The fact is, like, they are going to make you living hells during your wedding. Because at the end of the day, it's their portfolio. And I have seen it where they want to just enjoy cocktail hour. And the photographer's like, no, we have 1 hour set. You're going to stay here. You were late for 30 minutes. So you're going to stay 30 minutes longer into your cocktail.
That's wild.
She said that to the bride and groom. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I just like I got what I want. I left to document their cocktail hour and whatever that situation is. But a lot of people book these vendors because FOMO. They want that social media stuff. A lot of people reach out because they see the virality of what I bring, the million views and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, when they see the price tag, you ever saw the memes just like, I want to pay for it.
Yeah.
I want to pay. That's literally the meme because they want to say that, but then they see the quote and then they're like, do we really want him? And then it's just like, I actually priced myself under market. And then when I double the price, I finally have people that actually take me seriously and want to book me.
I know what you're talking about as far as like the pricing decision stuff. But as far as how much, like, will you ever not waste time on non-bookers? I think no chance. I think it'll always be baked in because you are a vendor at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Someone will go to you and then they'll go to someone else unless they've locked in their decision. Like, for example, the DJ person that we had found, a friend of mine, we were like, we're getting this person, like it's just a matter of, okay, is it going to be 2,000, 1,800, is it gonna, let's figure out that window.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When people say I'm out of their budget, it's not a budget, it's a priority issue. Because like end of the day, I think you have non-negotiables. I don't think you should pay $60,000 for a photo video. I don't think that. But if that is a priority and non-negotiable, I think you should work your budget around it.
It just has to be like there has to be a conversation, right? Okay, so 30 hours is going to be this amount. Okay, well, I need it to be this amount. Okay, so are you okay with 20 hours?
And I work with,
right.
That's what I'm saying. Anyone, I only, like I'm saying, the moment they actually say we want you and we're not going to go anywhere else, I literally tailor quotes and find ways to make it in their budget. But the fact is they have someone else in their mind, someone else rent-free. And I'm just like, why do I need to cut prices if you're not going to actually want me?
All right, what I was saying was we found this wedding photographer in India, super nice guy, and he was like, I'm going to be in America, so can I be like a side photographer for y'all's wedding? Even though we had already found someone. We got it approved and all that. My wife told him the wrong date. So my man was in Los Angeles, and this like it didn't happen last minute, but like leading up, you have to book all these flights in advance. He had come from New York to LA.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, it's the wrong weekend.
He did that. So he was in the wrong.
We hooked the shit out of him. Where I told my wife, I was like, bro, you can't be doing people like this. Like his dude's flying here. So I feel bad where it's like, okay, if you're expecting to work, and I think we had I think he was gonna do it for free. I think he would have just done the bridesmaids pictures, and that's all that she wanted. Yeah. Because we had asked our photographer like, hey, are you good with a person on the side just doing something? He was like, yeah, I don't care. Yeah. We're like, all right, but then we just told him the wrong weekend, and then leading up, he was like, oh, I can't do the the weekend that it was, and he had already booked flights, all this stuff, and it's like, do we pay for what are we supposed to do here? Yeah. But luckily the guy was nice. It all ended up all right. But I understand when you end up in these.
But there's the end of the day expectation. Did you sign a contract? Did you have the dates locked? Like I'm saying, it's just more so. That's also if that happened to me, it's more so the vendor is also at fault for not for me, I would never get that wrong because I'm legally obligated to show up here on contract. It's if I fuck up, then it's going to be court time, right? Yeah. So it's more so those type of things are miscommunications. Thank God I'm a yapper, right?
Are you a preferred vendor anywhere? Are there certain venues that are we prefer this photo video team?
Because my stuff is I don't like to use the word ratchet, but there's a reason why my own wedding planner friends, my good dear friends, stop referring me, is because it's just it takes a certain person to want hype, something that's not the cookie cutter stuff. Yeah. It takes a certain person. And I get that. That's why I don't ask everyone to book me. I'm not saying I'm the best event. There's every genre. There's documentary style. This is whatever it is, right? So it's just a lot of my wedding planner friends are always frustrated when, I give them discounted rates, and they're like, wow, he gave us a $10,000 discount and the client went with someone else. We look bad. I'm like, you don't look bad. I get it. It's just more so you can't just throw me in the ring against 3 other people if they're not really aligned with the work.
It's something, there's so much to do with the art output. If they don't want that whole hype aspect because
couples for me it's just I never take a photo of myself. You have to see the photos I take is just not me happy smiling. It's just me not looking at the camera. I don't know what it is, but the fact is I see the same thing in my couples where they're just don't know what to do. They want to pose. They're you know what I'm saying? They're not, they don't never saw this, you know what I'm saying? So it's just more so that type of style of hype editorial. The clients that usually book me are the ones that like a vibe. Yeah. Something that's more we want the energy. We don't want to be slow cinematic. That's not us. That's not who we are. That's why we resonate with your work. Yeah. Because we like this style of, just being present. It's really.
So we were the opposite. So I do understand where it's because after we had done our podcast, I talked to my wife where I was like, should we hire this dude? Yeah. He is free that weekend. And then it was just okay, this isn't what we're looking for. This vibe. Yeah. It's just not what we are looking for. So therefore, it would be almost counterproductive to be hey man, can you actually do your vision like this?
Because that's what I'm saying. So it's when people hand me when the moment a couple that didn't book me start sending me mood boards of other people's work, that's when I stop the conversation. Really? Because it's more so it's just
how much % overlap has to
because
exist?
End of the day I tell people end of the day this is your photos videos. I'm not going to look at this in your anniversary. I'm going to tailor. I am your director. I am going to tailor your script and to your vision, right? But more so is just the people when I first started, especially because my price tag and people are just this is not. I don't get that now, but when I first started, it was like that because they wanted the $30,000 vendor, but they couldn't. My first Indian wedding is my biggest client that made me cry myself to sleep for a couple nights. Her name was Mira Patel. Shout out to you, Mira Patel. But she end of the day, she was not looking for me as a vendor. I was just cheap. It was my first big wedding too. It was 4K. I was hype. And it was I was actually playing Call
Solo.
Yeah.
So
no. I didn't even come to the wedding and film it because when I was in college, I played college football. You see my helmets up there. I was in training camp. So I had at the time I had a team. I had JT, all these people that they literally associate. That's what we call it when the head honcho is not there. Okay. So they basically did the wedding, But she was a sleeper, like bridezilla. Like she was always like, you know, like super nice, everything like that. And then I literally, on my birthday, actually, it was media day at football, so we were able to leave for the afternoon. It was her, the reception ceremony, whatever. So I drove 2 hours to Cleveland to go like, hey, thank you for booking me. I'm going to work your reception here. And I worked the reception, but I had to leave early because I had class Monday, right? So it's just the 7 a.m. This is 7 a.m. When I was getting up to go to class.
Sure.
We're talking the bride just celebrated her whole wedding.
You're 17?
I don't even remember. I don't know. This was college, so probably like 20, not even 21.
Yeah,
but she called me at 7 a.m. saying, "Hey, your team left the moment you did," and it was like I left early, so I was like, "No, my team would never," right? And then I was like, "Let me get back to you." So I called my team, who just literally, worked till midnight essentially, and drove 2 hours back to Pittsburgh. And they were, "What's up, bro? Yeah, it was, yeah, we just, whatever it is." Like, "What time did you leave, bro?" He never lies. So it's just like, he's like, "Oh, we left like 11. We didn't say bye to the bride because we couldn't find her."
Yeah.
And then it's just like, "But you have it on video that your timestamps, right?" They're like, because everything's timestamped. They're not gonna lie. We know the last clip when we take it. They're like, "Yeah, we have time. Last time clip we saw was 10:40 p.m." So I'm like, "I have receipts." So I called the bride back. I'm like, no, they have time stamps on the cameras, the receipts. Like, well, we kissed at reception and they didn't get it. I'm like, well, if you had a moment and you wanted to document it, you have to know when your photographer, videographer is there. You know what I'm saying? And then she brought up a bucket list of problems. She's like, after the ceremony, like the photographer drove off to the another location without telling the video, because we just did video. They drove off with a couple, just photographer only. Didn't bother to tell the photographer. They had a planner, all these situations to get the videographer there, but no one went to the videographer to, say it was not on the timeline. Mm-hmm. I asked a million questions before this wedding because I was not going to be present. Nothing on the timeline saying after ceremony we're going to do more portraits. And then she brought that up as just like, well, you didn't do this, that, there, and then I offered okay, you're somehow her friend booked me still. So it's like you're coming in May for your friend's wedding. Like I'll do your engagement session or I'll include that. I did that because she was upset. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then I did that. She's like, well, you act like we wanted that, you were obligated. And she was like this, but boy, let me tell you that it took almost 2 years to edit her video, because every time I sent a video, she would send me a document essentially saying we're talking word sheet. I had to send her the raw footage, and that was probably my biggest regret, is sending her the raw footage early, because then she knew what was. She looked at every clip, literally every single clip. Said MVI 908, 10 seconds in, put it on 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Put that over it, and I was basically her puppet at that point to edit the video. I'm like, end of the day, she was just so pressured to have another vendor that she really liked, and I unfortunately early on said yeah, I can match that style. And the reason why I don't regret her as a client is because of that. Because the fact is, my cookie cutter bullshit is really, I'm going to leave weddings. I'm not going to do this if this is what, because I was not happy with editing at that time. And then she was just use me as a puppet. I'm like, I'm going to make my own style. If people like it, they like it. If I don't, weddings is not my thing. And then, unfortunately, a video went viral because of my style, and it worked out. But Mira Patel was the reason why I became my villain origin story, though.
That's perfect.
So I don't regret her as a client, but I appreciate.
Thank her.
No,
you should send her a care package.
No, I did actually recently. I sent my first client, because I did the first client that I lied to use someone else's work. Yeah. I sent her on her anniversary. I sent her a big message. It was I lied to you. I just wanted to confess, but I appreciate you for booking me and trusting me first before anyone else. She sent a long message back yeah, we keep you on social media. We love the work, and they actually hated their longer video. They loved their highlight, but they actually hated their longer video. That's the funniest part. But they said they still love the work.
On that thread where it's okay, in 5 years' time, what does the vision look like? Is it still in weddings? Do you have a desire to go into a different space?
I think it's just my growth has been up and down lately in terms of because it's my business grows as much as me, right? Last year, I think I was just when I first really got into weddings, I was in my influencer, let's just do this phase. but not understanding my why and like my inner child, this whole thing. Like I went through a whole mind, like, you know, psychology to make sure, because when I was at a phase of doing 60 weddings, I was burnt out. And the only way to fix a burnout, like as a creative burnout, the only way to fix it is go back to the reason why you're doing it. And it took the life of me to understand, like, you know, weddings especially, because it was just weddings, it was not anything else. But weddings has always been an art for me to be seen. Like, it's just like a vehicle, essentially. It's just more so like, you know, it could have been stand-up comedy, it could have been writing, anything. But until I saw weddings, like, not weddings, but videography, photography as my art, like, you know, the first time we talked in the podcast about the, you know, me stealing that video and using it as that motivation video, and then just getting that rabbit hole. You know, weddings is just like, you know, besides photography, videography, you know, it was you know, being wanted, you know, being present with, you know, people that, you know, brown weddings, especially now, is just like, you know, just feeling like you're a part of something that's bigger than you, which is couples and stuff like that. But, you know, I do feel like, you know, weddings is, you know, it's a dream job, but, you know, I think there is something bigger out for me. I'm still figuring that out. But I think end of the day, long term, I think it's just like, if I have an audience at the end of the day, it could be 10 people, it could be 1 million people, just people that can appreciate the stuff I create. But I don't want to be a narcissist, you know what I'm saying? I want to have impact, you know what I'm saying? I want people to have, when they watch like the work, is like, you know, anything I do, vlogs or something like that, is more so just like a safe place to, like, if they're having a bad day or something like that, where this video can be part of the routine. Right. Like Casey Neistat, like when he started dating, I watched that religious. I watched it like, because Casey, I watched him before he was daily vlogging. I watched him when he had like 100,000 subscribers, and he was the first filmmaker because I didn't have the confidence. He was that, you know, the quote of Steve Jobs, like this, and then whatever that is. He was the first filmmaker that I knew, and like YouTuber, I guess, was making money not on monetization or anything like that. He was getting jobs from brands, and I'm like, you can do that? You don't have to go to film school? Like, shit, like, I don't have to be an influencer? I don't have 1 million subscribers to make a living off videos? Yeah. What's the excuse? This guy is like, and he always had the motivation of like, you know, I was broke, I was on welfare, all this. His like story was like, you know, inspiring. So it's just more so, it's just like, you know, I think it's just like imposter syndrome and those things caught up to me, and a lot of things. My breakup last year, yeah. Lena, if you're watching this, I miss you. But yeah, no, it's just more so like I've been different phases of my life, but I would like to have end of the day something that where I can make something and people want to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, what if it went into sports media?
More so, it's just like, I think the reason why I haven't posted personally is because the burnout from the backlog. Because I've been focused so much getting this backlog out the way. I've halted like any type of personal vlogs and stuff like that. But I think I just like telling stories. I think it's just more so, it's just like, if I can make fun videos that people want to watch and people want to see, that's the thing I want to do. Like, just put it out in the air. Like, I do want to see myself. I don't like to use the word influencer, but I like to have an impact of some sort on the art I create. That's not.
Do you have a personal YouTube channel right now?
Yeah, I have a personal YouTube account. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Is that separate from like what's happening with?
I haven't posted anything. It's just like from there, but I have a personal like Instagram and stuff like that. But I do see myself parting ways from weddings, and you know, still doing it time to time if the opportunities are fun for me. But if I have something else, like the best advice I ever got was a girl that, you know, wanted to make a podcast. Actually, she had $100,000 per year like tanning business, and she told me like, you know, one day, the day I woke up and chose dog. She woke up. She wasn't making any money from the podcast. She was still doing it on the side. She just woke up and shut down her salon business. Just literally fired everyone and just said, "Hey, I terminated my lease early." Just pursued like crazy. But she's told me she opened up a brain capacity that was no longer, because like she got comfortable essentially. Now it's like I have to do the podcast, because when I started weddings, I was broke in my college dorm room.
Right.
So it was just like, you know, weddings were lucrative. I had to do weddings. I have to do it good to stand out. So now just like I have the praise now, I have the validation and stuff. I think that's why I stopped growing as even a wedding videographer, because those like I don't need the external validation anymore. I've proven myself time and time again, but I still like to do something that's long term, like mentally good, and you know, something that I want to do after. Even if like the thing is like, you know, we're in a weird times. Like weddings is not like something where it's like, you know, COVID was a proven factor.
Yeah,
it could be gone tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just having a brand of some sort of personal brand that, you know, a lot of people would use me as, I still do commercials. But yeah, I just like to, I think having something like that would be nice.
Can you do some behind the scenes of all this stuff that you have? Because like as someone that is a very novice consumer of photo video, right? Like I'm someone that, I think I could take pictures, right? If I just get a nicer tool, then I could probably do it. And I watch a lot of these YouTube videos where it's like, okay, this Canon or this, Fuji camera can do this or do this. I don't know, man. I feel like you have...
I had different phases in my life. I had the Casey Neistat phase, David Dobrik phase, Peter McKinnon phase. It's just more so like, I don't want to be fake. Like, I'm saying, like David Dobrik, I'm like, I like his videos because I've seen his videos where it makes that impact. Like, like a lot of people, no matter what vlog I've ever put of David Dobrik, it always made me happy. But I met him a few times in person. He's so, like, he has to put on this actor face every time the camera's on. And I was just like, I don't want to be that. There's a lot of people like that. I met because, my friend from Too Hot to Handle, shout out to Joey, got me connected to a lot of influencers. I saw the real side of people, and I saw this fake side, like this personality side to it. He's also one of those people that I just like, he has to put on a face. Like, he cannot do whatever he has to do, right? So for me, it's just like, I lied my entire life to find out who I am today. So I just want to be unapologetically myself. And that content has to represent that. It cannot be someone who I'm not. So it's just like, a lot of people say, do wedding education. I told people I stole weddings when from people really want to learn from me, but it's really it's just like understanding what people want to see from me. It's just like, like what is something that I could put that you will watch and you actually would enjoy. Like, also not knowing, like, is people actually watching this? Like the stuff that you told me that your issues with your podcast, I'm dealing with that too. But I think gratitude is the biggest thing that, I don't use enough. It's just like, be thankful that you can even have 100 people watch your video, because put 100 people in a room, it's just like that room is packed.
It's a lot of people.
And it's just like, if you have 10 people, that's 10 people that stopped during their day to watch it. If you, I look by likes, because likes are like, more so like, and I should stop using it as validation, but I should really just be thankful that I have 10 likes, 20 likes, 30 likes, 80 likes. Versus like I have videos that had over 250,000 likes, and I have a video that's at 3 million likes right now.
That's just like, that's the dopamine.
Dopamine. So it's just like,
okay,
but
there's a new ceiling. So it's gonna.
But that's what I'm saying. That's my valid. But like in terms of that, like that's where I feel like I'm appreciated for my art.
Yeah.
So it's just more so like I stopped doing that, but at the same time, it's just like I cannot use weddings, like because at the end of the day, I have never like that's the one concern I have. I don't even know. It's just my conspiracy. It's like, I have like, because my mental health. Would a couple have like a concern with it? I would say absolutely, you should not have any concerns with me at a wedding day, like me having a crash out or something like that.
Sure.
So it's more so, it's just like when I'm at a tunnel vision at the wedding, it's just like it's always about the experience, never for myself. It's always for like I'm saying.
That's good. I think that's a good level of professionalism.
Yeah, so that's why I don't like put a lot of people say, "Oh, post you more." I'm like. Because like a lot of people are like I will say a lot of clients are turned off by like, okay, this guy, it's my wedding day and this guy's like taking the show.
It does depend on what the business is, right?
Yeah,
like,
so it's just like there's this guy named Justin Porter. I love him to death. He's the opposite of me of how he does his style. He does more so he brings in a crew. He has like all this rigging and stuff. He has like things on there like and he has the best personality. He has just a happy like golden retriever, say hi to everyone personality. And I'm the same personality, but I like to blend in. So it's just more so like, but a lot of clients go book Justin Porter is because they like that, sense of professionalism, like these actual like, TV show type of cameras and like, a crew of 10 people. They like that.
Yeah.
Some people don't like that. So I understand what I want because like at the end of the day, it's like I can make my own. That's what thing. I have made my own demographic. That's the people that booked me.
Well, look, I'm excited to see what happens in 5 years' time.
I'm excited too.
So that being said, do you have anything else for the people? Make sure you do your plugs. Make sure you do your Celsius shout out.
Celsius keeping me energized. Pay me though.
They don't pay you.
They just give me free cans. But even that is just like
that's all right. That's solid.
I mean, I have to cut that part out. But no. I like at the end of the day, it's just like if you're even a vendor, whatever it is, like I think more like photography videographers gonna watch this podcast. But end of the day, it's just like everything always works out. So as a couple that's always just like freaking out about the worst case thing, I always tell them just pretend the worst thing happens.
Yeah.
At least you're mentally prepared. It's like when people is like stage fright, whatever it is, like pretend everyone's in their underwear. Like that's literally what you have to do for your wedding. Essentially, is just pretend like the worst thing happens. You have that auntie that judged you. You're gonna get that.
Yeah.
but don't impress people that you don't want to. But at the end of the day, like weddings like have been blown out of proportions. I need to have this $1 million look. But at the end of the day, you're not going to have all these people in the same room ever again. So at the end of the day, it's just like, just be blessed. You even have the opportunity to bring everyone together. Because like I said, until Dilma, someone actually stopped ghosting me. Like I like it's on site, Dilma lady. But like it's just more so. I don't know when I'm going because my dad's side of the family. I just still don't know. Yeah. And the next time I think the only opportunity I would bring them together is a wedding event, and they're not coming for my brother's wedding because he's wedding it's an intimate white brown.
Oh, it's a smaller one.
It's very small.
Okay.
But it's just like I see a part where couples are overthinking it and just they're like, let's do this, let's do that, but understand you have to have the purpose of why you're having the wedding in the first place, and don't overthink it. And just go with your gut. I always say like the best decisions, like how you like met your wife is probably a gut decision, right?
And to my message to the vendors, you're here for us. Please remember that.
And that's the thing. I think that's the one thing I agree with you because like these I like to say these Vogue divas. That's what we call it, the divas of the industry. It's just like, but end of the day, it's just like there is a time for your portfolio. You can do a style shoot, like what I'm saying. It's just like if a couple want to go to cocktail hour. Who's paying your check? They want to go to cocktail hour. At the end of the day, you don't have any obligation to. They said they want to do this. You documented it, and then at the end of the day, that's their decision. Let them go for it. Like at the end of the day, they're not going to watch this stuff on your anniversary. Mm-hmm. They're paying you to be, they're visionaries. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I agree with you.
Unless you're paying me.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, but I agree. I like end of the day, it's like I always tell couples over and over again, like my portfolio comes second. Your wedding comes first. Right. And some couples are just, they want something that, unfortunately I just can't offer, I guess. But end of the day, the book Weekend Project Studios, you're going to get the best of the best. You get my Type A energy, Celsius, and my dog. I bring him to weddings now too.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name has been Ajay Patel. Don't forget, comment, like, subscribe.
And actually go do something because this man's about ready to retire if you guys don't watch his shit.
He's not wrong. I'm teetering on the edge here.
And you need to have him because like if he doesn't do podcasts, then I will, and my crash outs are not valid.
Hey, I'll MC the wedding. Fuck it. I'll enter the wedding space. I'll be the vendor.
Yeah. You should have a wedding podcast. Bring couples on that stress about.
No, I told you the last time I'm talking about it. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, comment, like, subscribe. I will talk to you guys later. And if you're looking for a wedding photographer, videographer, Atit is the guy. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. And goodbye. And thank you again.
Thank you, bro.